or presents O.S.I. Love You.
This is Gary Butterfield.
This is Cole Ross.
And this is Goal Boss. I was trying to come up with our Malostro name.
Glengarry Cole Ross is the one that I've seen that people made that works.
It's a very specific reference, though. But that's us if we were Wall Street mavens, right?
That was real estate. Real estate, please. Come on.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Same diff. Yeah, we're in the weeds of season 5, and this is the first episode we've done where I remember the things that happened during this episode. If you put a gun to my head and said which episode do they occur in, I could not have told you.
Yep, I knew about the investor fake out on the internal affairs folks. I knew about Molotov. I knew the ultimate fate of Monstroso. Yeah, this one is. It's really doing it's real workman-like, let's say, at least in terms of like moving the macro plot forward. And
yeah,
it kind of lacks for a little bit of its own identity.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It also, because I had kind of forgotten this episode's identity, I forgot things that they were doing with it. So, and it's not, I don't blame myself for it. So, for example, I was very excited in Operation Prom when it felt like they were closing the Molotov chapter.
Yes.
I don't really like that character. I don't think they do that interesting stuff with her. I forgot about her coming back, but her becoming an O.S.I. agent doesn't go anywhere, right?
No, it doesn't. This is actually her last appearance. Like she disappears behind, basically behind triple and quadruple cover. Yeah.
It's very strange for her to, I mean, I bet she makes a cameo or whatever in the movie, but it's very strange to do all this work of bringing her back and then not do anything with her.
It's one of those things where I feel like they consciously ended on that cliffhanger, literal cliffhanger, right?
Yeah.
And showed her falling off and did everything in their power to signal that, oh, she survived this, even before they had the reveal at the beginning of season 5 where Brock, picks up the chastity belt. So even before that, you knew that she was still around, and for some reason they felt like they had to they had to underline it and circle it 4 times.
Yeah. And I would have just being an ambiguous thing would have been better to me.
And also,
I kind of hate this character.
I kind of like the way that Brock left it. You're a bad person, and then we listen to some pulp, and then it's a good finale.
And then now he's conflicted again.
Yep.
Now he's like making out like Spider-Man and Mary Jane, and I'm like, man, you're erasing some. The thing about season 5, I think that clings for me when I look back on it. The reason why when I did my rewatch last, and I was like, this is my second least favorite season after season 1, is that not only is it light on jokes in a general sense, but it's also erasing progress.
Yeah,
it's lots of backsliding. Like we backslide with 21, we're backsliding with Brock, and it's not the biggest deal in the world. Like their point, the creators, like when we listen to the commentary and read the book, they sound very defensive about all of this to me. And I get it. Like, they're just like, oh, this is a fun cartoon show. It was a literal cliffhanger. What did you expect? There's some animosity there. And I get that. But it feels like it's kind of shooting themselves in the foot because, that moment that you mentioned with Brock where he has that, the reason you suck speech to Molotov is a great moment. Like, that's like low joke Venture Brothers at its best.
Yeah.
And then they just decide, nah, he's still kind of hung up on her.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's back. And it's like,
And
this thing with the 1984 Olympics or 1986 Olympics is not as funny as Jackson thinks it was. Like, he's like, I've had this rattling around in my head forever. Yeah. And I'm like, it's not like a good scene or anything. Nothing happens in it.
The funniest thing about it is that it's not the 84 Olympics, it's the 86 Goodwill Games. The joke being that was a thing that I think Ted Turner started. And just like, hey, remember the Goodwill Games? That was dumb and weird, right?
It's so nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and then the other reason why this episode has like a kind of a black mark to me is it introduces a bunch of O.S.I supporting characters that I think are dumb and don't do jokes. Like Headshot, Amber Gold, and Snoopy are just places where jokes go to die.
Yep.
In this show, and I don't know why they get this weird focus in the back half of season 5. Like, it's extremely strange. What is the joke of Headshot? Like, I just, rude. He's not rude. There's no joke to Headshot. Wasting Bill Hader, just throwing him on the ground, leaving money on the table.
They're wasting Paget Brewster. Yeah.
She doesn't do anything. There's no jokes.
Yeah.
Like, there are funny bits to this episode, but it introduces some stuff I don't like about this show.
Yeah. Well, that's our final thoughts. If people like the episode, what can they do?
Which is it's a frustrating thing to know what to talk about with it. It's also irritatingly structured to me. It does that finishing each other's sentences, cross-cutting between conversations that happened in the last episode.
Yeah, it does Archer's
that
trick.
I am sick of as a cute trick.
Yeah.
So kind of an irritating episode.
You kind of have to be Adam Reed to pull that one off.
Yeah. And even then I don't think it's that fun.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm not giving anybody special credits for it. So this is a Jackson Public episode, originally aired June 30th, 2013. And this is the O.S.I, Hunter going after the guild in earnest, and we deal with Molotov and Monstroso.
Yes. Malostro, as Shirley calls him. This is, I think, like, I don't know, if you were to find the most Jackson episode that falls into all of his, like, just take the lever and put it all the way over to the end of him kind of living in his element, but also falling into every one of the traps that he tends to fall into. This would probably be it, right?
It's the bad version of 20 Years to Midnight.
Yeah. Like
that is a consummate Jackson episode as well, but it works.
Yeah.
So
this is told primarily in flashbacks. During interrogation, we get the internal affairs folks coming in. They were being set up the whole time. You get your dough, your card holder, and you get a couple of new guys. What's that?
Mr. Your Name.
Yeah. And Master Sample. I like Master Sample quite a lot.
Yeah. Sample and Frost.
Yeah.
And we also get some O.S.I agents, which in a half a line brush off, we're all double agents. Double agents to whom? God damn it. What did Tank Top do to you? Why did you throw him away?
He's so
it's
good.
So weird.
I love so many of these one-off guys. I love Slapchop. Yep, Shuttlecock, Bum Rush, and Junk Dog. Yeah,
so good.
Yeah, and then they just get dispatched in this one episode. I'm really happy that we end that they didn't do. If you look in the art book, you can see that they plan to have like even more of these guys. Call it just kind of a squad of super soldiers called the Elitists, and that ends up containing characters that are used later to better effect.
Even though I do miss out on Tiny Titan.
Yes.
The idea of a Hulk that's the size of like 6 inches is very funny to me.
Yep.
I would have appreciated Tiny Titan.
Yeah. And Public raises a good point when he talks about this, both in the book and in the commentary, which is G.I. Joe is impossible to parody. Every military equipment or military pun that you can think of, no matter how bad, has already been used.
Yeah. And Venture Brothers have been doing this for a while. That's what Shore Leave is. Which is kind of a euphemism for him getting some on land. But then you run into the actual G.I. Joe's name things like Snow Job. It's like, whoa. So like, so they wanted to close the loop on Molotov because they lost interest in her as well, even though like I think this is opening a loop on Molotov by making her work with Brock.
Yep.
Pretty weird fucking move. And this is the last solo episode that Jackson wrote before him and Hammer started working on the premiere in Gargantua 2.
Yes.
That special, which kind of is a movie and is also the finale and the premiere of season 6 and kind of occupies a real weird space.
Yeah. Yeah. Jackson likes the episode, but acknowledges that it's kind of weird. Doc is very hostile toward it. The boys, the schism between the boys and the commentary on the season is just... Doc spends, I feel like, 5 minutes talking about how proud he is that when he writes episodes, people are talking around a table.
Like there's this real weird, like, you and I are not the same energy that comes through in the commentary. There's also in the commentary, there's like a full 6 minutes where they don't say anything.
I know. I was sitting here. I thought that it was I thought that I wasn't paying attention, because I put on the audio and I work on other stuff, just kind of low attention kind of things. And, sometimes you get, okay, like, well, I haven't taken a note in a while. I went and scrubbed and no, they're just watching the episode.
Yeah, they just stop. When they come out of it, it kind of sounds like they had gone out for a cigarette.
Kinda.
And just left it running. It's really weird. Like strange things are afoot. I can't wait to read about season 6 in the book and see like whatever re-energized them to start doing stuff and made them like each other again. Because it's lots of low-key hostility.
Yeah. The other schism is that Doc likes the status quo with the Guild and the O.S.I, and public really wants to move it forward.
Yeah. The idea of like, and I think I'm a public man for this. I think that like, moving them into interesting places that do new stories is good.
Yeah.
Like setting them up in different situations. And ultimately, that's what revitalizes the show after season 5. They do Gargantua, and then we have the New York era, which is entirely different. Yeah. Like it's weird villain of the week. It feels back to basics in a way that season 5, like the mission statement for season 5 was almost. Where it's just like, here's some kooky criminals that are going after the ventures. And here's the mechanics of the guild. Yeah. It really works to me.
To me as well.
Yeah. But this episode's kind of a dud. We start off with Monstroso's floating yacht headquarters with Molotov there. As an O.S.I helicopter looks on, it's Brock and Shore leave, but then we're introduced to Headshot and Amber Gold. Headshot is a sniper who looks handsome. Amber Gold is blonde.
Yeah, blonde and southern.
That's it.
Yep. That's the deal. Yeah, and Headshot is getting ready to snipe Monstroso, make the first move. And Brock says, hey, we need to keep Molotov alive. And there's some bickering about, Brock's past with Molotov, and Amber Gold kind of like stepping in and saying like, oh, he would never fall in love with somebody that awful, right? Eventually her and Brock are going to get involved. So maybe there's some seeds of that here.
Yeah. Perhaps. This is where Shore Leave drops Molostro. And they open fire, and then Mal and Monstroso, instead of deciding to fight back, they decide to give Brock a show. So she mounts him.
Yes. Yeah. Knows exactly how to get under his skin. And then we cut to the interrogations. We're intercutting between them. We have Brock being interrogated by Master Your Name. This is Brendan Small. And then we have Hunter being interrogated by the more experienced one, Mr. Sample, voiced ably by Dana Snyder.
Yes. The idea is this is all happening. The hover quarters got shot down. Monstroso got away and Molotov got away. Or so they think. Initially, they're going to investigate. And this is some kind of internal affairs. Like, I don't know what organization this is.
Right.
That's above O.S.I, but it's them coming in with their red tape. Yeah. This is irritating in terms of chronology. This episode. So we're gonna do our best to kind of like untangle it and make it make sense. But there's gonna be a lot of parts where it's like, and then it cuts to this, which is in the future, and this, which is in the past, etc.
Yeah. Yeah. Just the overall effect that they're going for is that all of this is snippets that comes out in the interrogations, but it's not always constant who's in which room. It is strange, especially to convey linearly through speech like this. So we cut to an hour ago, before them talking about the just the thing being shot down, and this is when Internal Affairs arrives. The helicopter with the agents and Monstroso on Molotov kind of arrives at the headquarters, and Brock insists, hey, we followed every single protocol here. There's no reason for you to come down on us like this.
Yeah. Yeah. And basically, was that true? There were uncleared civilians. He's like, I didn't know they were there. And it turns out Rusty, Hatred, the boys are here as well. They're being interrogated by Master Sample. Hatred came to get his breast fixed. There's a little bit of like, did he get a boob job? No, he got it removed. for his all natural tits. Hank is still in a strength suit, which I also forgot about, this three episode strength suit arc. They're falsies.
They're built into the suit.
Yeah. As the kid been nipping off your stash?
Yep.
The No Molestol is interacting with the super soldier serum. We found that out through the art book.
Yeah.
A while back. The reason behind the boobs.
Yeah. I like the back and forth between Hatred and Rusty, because Rusty laughs at the idea of Hatred being called a super soldier, and Hatred's like, hey, I don't laugh when people call you a super scientist, dude. Don't be a dick. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that quite a bit. I also, again, in like we've lost fun Dean, Rusty starts giving Hank shit about wearing the suit and his stench. She's like, there's can you do something about the boy? Are there any drugs for him? He's changed. And Dean's like, yeah, now when he jumps off the roof, he dies for real. And that's like one of 2 Dean lines.
Yep.
In the episode, he gets that little arc with the weird vagina precogs. But yeah, Fun Dean is now gone.
Yeah, and he just mostly sulks in the corner of whatever scene he's in here. Yeah, Brock says, "Hey, I wanted to get these guys off the ship as quick as possible. It didn't feel right, but he got held up before he could go and kind of usher them away."
Yeah, and so he goes in to check on Monstroso here, who is getting cavity searched forever. Because he has a gigantic anal cavity.
Yes.
Is the implication here. And it takes one of the agents just a real long time to rummage.
Yeah. It's hard to get at those back corners.
Yeah. I was reading today about prepping for a colonoscopy. Not because I have one on the schedule, but just, better safe than sorry. And it just sounds really horrible. I never really considered it. But they're just like, yeah, they give you a diarrhea medicine 6 hours beforehand, and it's like the most strenuous, harrowing thing that you'll ever do.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit. Yipes.
Yeah.
I like feeling clean inside, but I don't,
it's no aspect of it sounds pleasant.
No. Apparently you can add Crystal Light to the solution they give you to make it a little bit better.
The only thing that has ever been made better by adding Crystal Light.
I know, that's how you can tell how foul it is. You got to rub some dirt on this turd. He checks in on Amber Gold, who's giving Molotov the nozzle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mr. Doe's like, hey, you have a history with the Ruski. And he explains, and we get this Goodwill Games scene.
Yeah.
That Jackson has just been burning a hole in Jackson's pocket for years.
Yep.
For some reason.
Yeah. So Brock was sent undercover as a competitor for America in the Goodwill Games in 1986. He was there to try and stop an assassin named the Siberian Husky from striking. This is the KGB's best assassin, and he's undercover as the Russian team's coach. You can get a tell immediately when you look at him because he's got heterochromia, just like a Husky does. Yeah.
Yes. And so Brock's here with his old partner. He is too distracted by how hot Molotov is. He doesn't realize she's an agent as well. So he doesn't stop the Husky from taking a shot at Gorbachev, and his partner takes a shot at Husky, who returns fire and kills his partner.
Mm-hmm.
Molotov pulls out a pistol, fires on Brock. He throws a javelin at her. She ducks, kills the Husky, which is her father.
Yes.
Mr. Doe says, like, hey, your judgment has been influenced by Molotov's charm since the beginning. What is the nature of your relationship? And he says, I've never slept with her. She had this, we were, and then it cuts over to Rusty saying, strictly professional.
Yeah, we flirted
because they
asked
him about his relationship, and it's doing that cross-cut thing.
Yeah. So he's implying like, oh, we flirted and there could have been something. She was the babysitter after all, which gross, Rusty.
Yeah.
And then Hunter is responding to, a picture of him and Molotov kind of working together, saying like, I was only working with her as part of this operation. I was trying to take down her, all-girl kill club from the beginning as well.
Yes.
Like, you can't say that she's like compromised any of us.
Yeah. Mr. Doe, they find Molotov's chastity belt in Brock's room. So he's like, hey, you must have broke her out of that. And he goes, no, the last time I saw her was right here in this very interrogation room.
Yeah.
And we cut back to Brock questioning Monstroso, who is wearing this toga made up of soiled bread seeds because he's huge. And he's willing to talk. He's like, I'm already dead. The guild's going to come get me.
Yeah.
And yeah,
why would I why would I keep secrets for the people who are going to kill me? I'll just open up for you.
Yes.
And this is the first that that the OSI learns of any of these particulars of the guild that we've known for a while. I don't like that they retcon the Sovereign.
Yeah, I don't either. I think it's more fun.
Yeah, it's more fun if he's actually just Bowie, because they, like this, one of them says like, oh yeah, the Sovereign Bowie, and they say, oh, he's not actually Bowie. And Brock, plays it off legit. He tries to play like, oh, that I met both of them, and the real Bowie didn't, he couldn't turn into a little hawk. But yeah, the Sovereign was just this petty thief who never really rose above anything in spite of his shape-shifting abilities. Then he met Bowie in 72, and we get I'll let you do the trivia here.
There's so Diamond Dogs, the second Ziggy Stardust album that David Bowie did, has a cover with a half Bowie, half hound creature on the front, where the early copies of it had the dog's dick. And they're collectors, and they say he was rumored to be the inspiration for the cover.
Yeah,
so he's a shapeshifter turned into a half Bowie, half dog.
Yeah, it was like, oh, that was a picture of him in his actual form, right? Yeah.
And then also the woman on the cover of the wretched David Bowie cover album, Pinups. I also do not like this being, just a shapeshifter. It's also frustrating because next season they introduce a shapeshifter. Which confused me.
Yep.
At the time, like, call me a dullard, whatever you want. But I was just like, oh, does that mean, I know that the Sovereign had bid it before that, but it was just like, oh, it's very conspicuous that just like a couple episodes after they say the Sovereign was just a random shapeshifter, they introduced the first shapeshifter.
Yeah.
Into the game who can take other people's appearances. So the Presto Changeo.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That would be real silly if that was the Sovereign, but it felt sloppy to me.
Very.
Monstroso says, if you want, the guild's actually not run by the Sovereign, it's run by the Council. I've seen them, have these pictures, but they're all anonymous even to each other.
Yeah.
The only one I definitely recognize is the Clue Clown because of his screeching, shrill voice.
Yeah, I can't really disguise that. I love the Clue Clown so goddamn much.
I like Clue Clown quite a bit. The Clue Clown scene in Bot Seeks Bot is very good.
This bit of exposition is interrupted. There's an alarm that sounds, and Brock goes to the observation room over on the other side of the one-way glass. They're being watched by an agent, by the agent who wets his bed. He calls them puddles.
Yeah.
Which is...
Hey, that's not, so that's Brock's alibi. We cut over to Mr. Cardholder interrogating Amber Gold and Headshot. Amber Gold is like, it was my fault. I was guarding her. And we see what happened. The nozzle is scanning Mal, and then she has a lockpick hidden in her eye cavity. It's fucking gross. Yeah. And then later, so what she did was she overpowered Amber Gold and took her, dressed up as her. So as Headshot is getting ready to leave, he checks in on Molotov, pulls the bag off, and it's not Mal, it's Amber with shorter hair, and she's not totally blonde.
Yeah.
She's dirty blonde.
Yeah.
And he keeps talking like kind of sexistly about her, sexistly about her not being a real blonde.
Yeah.
And again, for whomst is this for?
Yeah.
Like, I defy to find a human on Earth whose favorite Venture Brothers character is fucking Headshot.
Yeah, he calls it her deadly deception. It's one of those things where, like, this is a bit of a red herring, and they do this throughout the episode. There's one that really works for me about it. But, like, they're trying to set it up, like, oh, what was her deadly deception? Was Amber working with her the whole time? No, it's something else. This sets it up and knocks it down so quick that even if this was this was the funniest possible thing, it snaps out of being the structure of a joke.
Yeah. It fails in terms of structure and content.
Yeah.
Like, the structure doesn't work because it's too quick of a payoff. The content doesn't work because we have to imagine this O.S.I guy is really concerned with whether somebody is a natural blonde.
Yeah. Or the exact kind of blonde that he thinks. Yeah.
Yeah. Like a slightly different blonde. Can you imagine smaller ball than that shit, man? Like, it's very frustrating to me. I hate these new O.S.I characters. Are they a bummer?
Some low cards.
Yeah. Over in the other room, Dean says, I did it. Finally, I admit it. I let them both out. Drinking his bodega soda. That's something that pops up in the commentaries of him drinking Warritos, basically. saying like, Hatred, Uncle Hatred was getting his booby test. Rusty was showing him around, talking about his internship, his lab away from his lab, and takes Dean to his old lab where Dr. Volcano is, tending to two precogs and saline pools. These are real gross.
Uh-huh.
I don't. And the one part of this I think is cute in the commentary of them being like Doctus loving precogs and threatening to put precogs in episodes.
Yeah, and Public was like, "Oh yeah, so I decided to put one in here for you, buddy." But also that took away Doc's ability to do it himself too.
Weirdly passive aggressive.
Hey, I took your precog shot for you. Although here they're called primos for premonition.
Yeah. So these are two wrinkly alien ladies who wear special panties and they poop out little dense spheres that have a message on them. Mm-hmm. It's just really gross looking. I know when they roll out between their legs when they're in the closet later. There's something very foul about this. And
I mean, it's intentionally supposed to be off-putting. Like when this comes out, like nobody wants to touch them. And even Dr. Volcano is like, oh, this is nothing. Sometimes we just get this junk, although it is actually what's happening. Golden Lady fly away boom.
Yeah. Dean feels really bad for them. Like he's been in a tank, they're in a tank, and they give him a team venture sign. So he decides to let them out. So he admits it. Internal Affairs like, duh, like this isn't what we wanted.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? And they leave.
Yeah. So they storm off. We get a commercial break, and then we cut over to a video call from the alchemist. He's called shore leave on Skype to give him his birthday gift. Do a little strip action. And Mr. Cardholder does not want to hear about it. And shore leave is like, hey, don't you say share every detail? However small. So there you go.
Cute little detail of him living in Triana's room.
I love that. I didn't notice that until it was pointed out in the commentary.
Yeah, it's a great little detail. So he fast forwards a bit. Hunter asking them to find Molotov. With all the other G.I. Joe agents here, he side eyes Afterburner and pulls off his mask and just like, oh, maybe I'm just a guy who's very sensitive about my horrible burns.
Yeah.
As anybody who worked with flamethrower would.
Yeah, he looks like Deadpool. His face is all melty.
This is where we see the crew of the G.I. Joes.
And we talked about them, like all of them there. We get to hear some of their names. Obviously, the runaway one here is Tank Top.
Kind all double agents.
Oh yes, of course, all double agents. So they must die. What I want is the spinoff series with Tank Top and Trucules.
Oh sure. Yeah, top heavy. Like just weeble wobble. They also got rid of Trucules. They didn't know what to do with him. It's sad. They don't like these big, big top heavy dumb idiots.
It writes itself. Come on.
Yeah. Trucules is gold. Gold. Even though they gain a lot with me with Think Tank.
Yes.
In season 6. I love Think Tank. Hank is saying like, hey, put me in, coach. He's got hey, if you have an Avengers division, I could be the Iron Man. Little nod to that cut scene. Hunter pulls a gun on him at this point, like, get out of my hair.
Right.
When Brock is interrogating Monstroso, we ask about the investors, and the investors appear behind Brock. So Monstroso looks really scared, but Brock doesn't see it. And we get this kind of implausible. I don't think the investors are supposed to be invisible to Brock.
No, it's just
like
that they're standing.
The blocking is just him not seeing it.
Yeah, they're like standing in his blind spot, kind of like what's his name? The cigarette smoking man from the X-Files, right?
Yeah.
So, but
Captain Cigarette.
but Captain Cigarette, but Monstroso sees him and throws the table. Like this is his bills due, right? He knows that they are here to kill him. And Brock gets pinned under the table while the investors use their magic hot hands and phase Monstroso through the wall to fall to his death. And nobody saw what happened. He is still considered MIA.
Yeah. You'd think that they would find the corpse at some point. This is fine. It actually does get rid of Monstroso, which, again, I'm kind of done with this whole section of plot, so I'm happy about that. Apparently, it took several days to animate him going through the wall. It was very difficult.
Yeah.
Shore leave with the crew. They see Molotov. They have her cornered, but Tank Top jumps the gun and fires a shell, giving her a little escape hatch.
Mm-hmm.
When they move in to investigate, they open up a closet trying to find Molotov, but they find the Primos pooping out little warnings in the corner. Just so gross.
You. It just rolls across the floor.
It's not a premonition. Look behind you. It's Molotov dangling from the ceiling.
Yeah. And then she, comes down and attacks. There are lots of really well choreographed fight scenes in this. Although public, just was pointing out, just don't point out the animation errors. Stop. I know it bothers you.
They're so concerned with all the opposite things I'm concerned with.
Yep.
On the commentary. Like the things I could not care less about.
Mm-hmm. It's like, Brock's Band-Aid moved from this place to this place. And it's like, just vibe, man. Come on.
Come on, my man. You gotta cool it. Molotov and Shore Leave have some back and forth. She tries to shoot him. He's taking the magazines out of her gun, saying, let's dance, kitty cat, let's have a cat fight. And she goes meow and blows up part of one of the engines of the hover quarters. So the whole ship kind of lilts to one side. The X-1 flies off the runway with Helper screaming. Mm-hmm. And then Snoopy, my least favorite character in Venture Brothers, gets the ship back to level.
Yeah. He's not in focus here. It's just a funny name for Hunter to call out. So Hatred and the boys, they didn't feel this. They didn't feel this happening because the nozzle room is gyroscopically stabilized. I like that. Hank is furious. He's saying, put me, just more of this, put me in, coach stuff. And he gets so angry that the nozzle is doing the nozzle is now calibrating kind of stuff. He kills the nozzle, Gary.
Yeah, Nozzle dies. Last appearance of Nozzle.
He yanks it right out of the wall,
burning all their bridges. And unlike Molotov, I feel like the nozzle still had stories to tell.
Think about the places it's been.
I don't need somebody correcting me and saying the joke of the nozzle is that we don't know what it is. I know. I'm joking. Master Sample asks Rusty if he's ready to talk about what happened to his other son, and he's like, I'm not ready to talk about that yet. No, this is just a misdirect.
Yeah.
For no reason. Mm-hmm. Like he should be ready to do it. He's just acting for benefit of the audience. It's not even dramatic irony. Back in the nozzle room, what is the word for that when a character pretends to know something they don't know for the audience?
Pretends not to know something that the audience knows?
Yeah, like dramatic irony is when the audience knows something and the character doesn't.
Yeah.
This is something where the character just lies to the audience for no reason.
Yeah.
To create dramatic irony.
I don't know that there's a word for it. If there is, I've not heard it defined as such.
It feels like cheating.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I hate it. So it's Hank says, he has these powers, this opportunity is part of his destiny as Hatred sees Molotov. Hatred says, stand back. I'm the ranking officer here. I'm going to protect the family. So he charges out, just misses all of his shots.
He Pulp Fictions here. Yeah.
Yep.
And then Molotov, of course, wheels around and fires off a shot. But Hank tackles Hatred through the wall, just in time. And this is very sweet. I like this. Mm-hmm. Hank says, you kind of are my family, Uncle Hatred. We got to protect each other. If it's your job to protect me and mine to protect you, here we go. Hatred won him over.
Yeah. I heal you, you heal me.
Yeah.
So Hank says, super kill lady, my crush on you is over, and goes to fight her. Brock runs up trying to stop, but a door comes down to stop them. Yeah, before he can do it.
So Brock is furious and beating himself up for not stopping Hank. Instead I had to find him like that. Yeah. So he
again also lying to the audience for dramatic irony.
Yeah.
All the other G.I. Joe guys died. Mm-hmm. From Molotov. So he picks up Tank Top's corpse and uses it as a gun to blow through the door and finds Hank on the floor in a puddle of his own piss without the suit. Mm-hmm. He can't move his legs. The implication here is that he's paralyzed from the waist down.
Right.
This is a fake out that the characters would know.
Yes. Yeah. At least by this point in the story. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Molotov has taken the strength suit. And I like Hunter's line about that. Damn it. That's like giving dynamite to a Grendel.
Grendel's a good choice.
Yep.
For that.
Good pick.
Hunter spots her in the hangar and leaves Snoopy in charge of the bridge. Snoopy's whole joke is it's John Hodgman doing a nebbish voice.
Yeah. It's
So
just,
if you think that's a knee slapper, boy, we got a couple more episodes of that.
the joke is that Snoopy's just a regular guy who's in this wacky situation. Yeah.
Plus John Hodgman.
Yes. So Brock goes to the hangar. Like you say, I'm gonna finish this off once for all. And she heads out of the rapidly closing door at the end. Brock hops into a jet to kind of go after her, but ends up getting caught between the doors and is ejected out the side, out of the windshield and out of the side of the hover quarters, presumably to fall to his death. This is why we've seen that he's had bandages all over his face and all the present day stuff.
Yeah. His interrogator is questioning how he survived and says it's because he has friends in high places. Helper saved him.
Yeah.
And he's, and I was pissed. So he Helper, drives back with Brock on the hood and catches up to Maul, snagging her with his grapple pistol as they both end up hanging over one of the struts, facing one another.
Yeah.
And they're still questioning him. He says he did his duty. And we see a control room video camera of Brock throwing Molotov into a turbine.
Yes.
There.
Yeah. And we see, Mr. Your Name, he has been watching the video of the death of Molotov on this little iPad, and then puts it away as they're getting ready to go. He does give a master sample his hat and promotes him to Mr.
Yep. A full Mr. The internal affairs guys just say, hey, the higher ups are not going to like this report. There's men with breast, double agents, kids. It's a weird ship, Hunter. It ain't going to fly. He says, don't let the door shh you on the way ass on the way out. Here. Hunter goes to change Maul's record from apprehended to deceased. And then we get what really happened.
Yeah. Hunter walks out onto the wing and says, just put her down. This wasn't an escape. It was a test. It was her skills versus our security, and we failed.
Yeah. He's like, oh, but Brock's like, you're kidding me. She killed all those agents. He goes, double agents. I gave Red a list of chores. She took out the garbage. And again, double agents for whom? I hate this, that there's just like, we don't know almost anybody in the O.S.I. And 70% of them are double agents. And we just fucking did that with Mr. Cardholder and Mr. Doe.
Yep.
Like, we just did this. It's a really irritating episode. So he says, Brock's like, are you crazy? He says, sometimes not now. Maul isn't the enemy. She's a mercenary. The people who hired her are the enemy. As long as we pay her more, she'll work for us.
Yeah.
Welcome to the team, Agent Cocktease.
Yeah. Although we're going to have to do something about that name, he says. And Hunter charges back into the bridge to call everybody's attention to what's happening on the wings. He's set this up to get Molotov off the books. Brock throws what appears to be Molotov in the suit into the turbine, but it's actually just the empty suit.
Yeah. Then we get the twist that I think is better in this of the doors opening and the internal affairs guys come out. Hunter's like, oh, did you forget something? And they introduce themselves because the ones that came before were actually the investors in disguise.
Yeah. And then we see them phase through the floor, leaving their hats behind as they get out of here. So they accomplished everything that they wanted, though, we do, O.S.I. does learn about the nature of the council, and that's going to kind of set them onto the course that they're going to go pretty much for the rest of the season.
Yes. And then our post credits, we get the reveal with Hank. His legs are just atrophied because of the strength suit.
Yes.
So he's relearning how to walk on a treadmill.
Yeah. The Hunter says, you'll never get over the loss of your breasts. You'll miss them forever. Alluding to he's still.
Yeah. Gender fluid Hunter. Deeply irritating episode. I watching it the one time, I was just like, oh, okay, like stuff's happening and I'm having a reasonably good time. And then going back and watching it again, and then listening to the commentary and reading the book and stuff ended up making it feel much more frustrating to me.
Yeah. And that's one of the things, right? We are experiencing the show in a way that is not meant to be watched I think,
Yeah.
kind of looking at it and very consciously, holding it up to, let's say, the arc of the entire series as it goes.
Yeah.
The fact that it is kind of this retread and also kind of going back, something that really kind of just, I think at a fundamental level, bums me out about this is that is going kind of just directly opposite of what the show is at its best, which is embracing a new status quo, just saying, yep, shit's changed now. There we go. We're doing something new now by even in getting these characters, quote unquote, off the books, even though Molotov is technically still around, they're setting it up to be kind of like it was before. That's not what I want out of this. That's not what I want out of the show.
It's always been one of the great strengths of Venture Brothers that things change. That with them killing the boys in season 1 and then doing the clone reveal was them, kind of plausibly running in place. And then the season 2, or when they got rid of all the clones, season 3, it was huge.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Brock's not going to work for them anymore. Like things are going to move. And it was really cool. Like it always felt very, very unique to me. In the world of cartoons, especially in an Adult Swim context where like the idea is, hey, it's Assy McGee.
There's no continuity, Master Shake will die every episode. Yeah.
Yeah. The what is the 12-ounce mouse gonna get up to this week?
Yeah.
It wasn't really about that. And then it makes it when they backpedal feel real bad.
Yeah.
Like, yes, we're approaching the show in a way that's not really meant to be, but I also don't have a lot of sympathy for things that get worse the more you think about them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think things should stand up to being thought about. Mm-hmm. We're not doing, we're not looking for things to complain about. Like, I love this fucking show. Mm-hmm. The last episode was a nonstop joyride. Mm-hmm. Like the show is still very dear to me. I don't have a grudge.
Yeah.
I think that when it missteps, it just feels worse because the highs are so unbelievably high.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Luckily, this new O.S.I shit and all this stuff will go away.
It will.
As soon as we get to the New York era.
Yep.
So, nary a headshot will be found.
And, pretty much all of the new stuff all of the new folks that they introduce in the New York era is good and fun.
Yeah. Warriana's great.
Mm-hmm.
The all
Dad,
that stuff is great.
Dad, basically the Avengers are here.
Yeah. The Fallen Archer is so good.
Yeah.
Blind Rage. So thanks everybody for listening. We appreciate you. Mm-hmm. Is the next one Bot Seeks Bot? No, the next one is Dunwich. It's Mama's Boys.
Yeah, the next one is
That's
Mama's
also
Boys.
a good one.
Yeah.
I think, if I recall. I like that episode quite a bit.
They drag it.
Even though it's also really gross. She wants to shove them back into her vagina, I'm pretty sure.
Hey, rebirthing, It's they spend a lot of time dragging it in the commentary, which is not always not always indicative of whether or not I'm going to enjoy it. So
yeah. I'm a little bit more open to that episode because it's a Monster of the Week episode, as opposed to like, let's do all the lore stuff at once.
Yeah.
But if you like the show, you can go to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv, get episodes a week early, get a bunch of bonus shows, and support your boys.
Please do. Makes a big difference for us. If you have thoughts about season 5, you can rate them any time. Go to Duckfeed.tv/contact, click the orb button and write in. Those are gathered up for the season wrap-up episodes in between seasons.
Yeah. And until next time,
go Team Venture.